Thanks for your time. I'm sure that, as a touring musician, this must be kind of an uncertain time for you. From what I understand, you guys were heading over to Mexico when this whole thing broke out.
Yeah, we had some dates in March, right around March break in Canada. We had four Mexico shows, and we were actually, right up until the day of going, there was still talk of us going.
Do you remember which time in March this was?
This would have been, we were gonna fly there the Friday or the Thursday or the Friday of like the March break.
Okay, so like mid-March.
Mid-March, yeah. And, I was talking to my manager basically every day, and they were just getting more information from promoters. And, promoters down there seemed to think everything was going to be fine. And they a lot of bands were still going, and some bands were considering canceling like us. But we decided to cancel just because, and, good thing, because during that week we would have been down there for actually 10 days. That's when really all shit hit the fan, and that's kind of like we would have kind of possibly been stranded there. And we had our return flights were coming through the US, so that would have been a problem coming back to Canada. So I think we made the right choice. And we didn't really want to be a part of something where thousands, 50,000 people are at the same event, potentially just getting each other sick and making this whole thing worse. So, that was on our minds as well.
I mean, it's so uncertain. Like, are you guys going to reschedule these shows, or are they just going to be completely canceled? Like, what do you think's going to happen now?
Yeah, the good thing about like these festivals and even shows right now is they are getting moved to the fall. And even we just postponed. We had a tour, and we're supposed to be in Australia with Offspring, this month, like maybe right now. I can't even remember the dates, but that's getting postponed to the fall as well. So the good thing about that kind of stuff is it can move. It's stuff like the big festivals in Europe, which are June, July, and August. Those kind of can't be rescheduled. So those big festivals that have 20,000 to 60,000 people, if those go away, they just go away till next year, which really sucks.
Really?
At least these ones that are in the spring can try and get moved to the fall, which promoters are trying to do.
So these gigantic festivals that are going to get canceled, obviously that's going to be a big hit on them financially. Would they be able to bounce back, do you think, the following year, or is this going to have like a residual effect for a while?
Yeah, I think it all depends on what bands. Because obviously when you go to these big festivals, promoters give you a deposit up front, and so I think it all depends on what bands do. Like if they give promoters a break and maybe give back their deposit and stuff like that. I don't know. There's also insurance involved, and there's all this stuff that people are gonna have to work out. But yeah, I do feel really bad for promoters, and some of these festivals, the promoter needs to have these festivals to keep going, and for a year to take a year off, it could be a big financial hit for a promoter and a festival. So I hope things can get worked out.
Yeah, I hear you. I was just thinking, this morning, for some of the newer bands that aren't established, I guess for them this might actually be like a huge blow because, I guess once you get your momentum starting as a new band and all of a sudden things are halted, it's hard to get back on that horse. Are you in touch with any, I guess, younger bands who are having these concerns?
I haven't really spoken to a ton of people while I've been off. But yeah, I mean, I've been seeing stuff online. And yeah, I agree. Like, I think with the younger bands, and especially bands that have albums coming out right now that, need to put out an album and go right on tour. And, bands that make money and are just like, tour to tour, be able to pay rent, go home, go back on the road, stuff like that. That they're going to be hit the hardest, I think. You're right. And not even that crew. Like, the crew that works for these bands are just off. Like, and, a lot of them don't do anything else. They're on the road 9-10 months of the year, and they don't have anything else to do. So, and most of them are tour to tour as well. So, yeah, those are the people that are going to be hit the hardest, unfortunately. Yeah, it sucks.
Are the labels like? Do you know if they're getting ready to like help out these people, or like is this kind of an every man for themselves situation?
I don't know what other labels are doing. Our label, Hopeless, is giving bands a little bit of money to help them through, which is really nice. But there's only as long if this keeps going on longer and longer, there's only so much everyone can help with, and labels are obviously going to stop doing that. They're not going to keep paying for everyone, for months and months and months. But it was nice of them to do this right now, and we just have to kind of all be in this together and stay home, and and just get over it, and not think this is something that's just going to go away on its own. It's not going to go away on its own, and we just have to all be in it together.
I'm just wondering about you guys as a band. I mean, if you're a solo artist, this is already difficult enough, but as a band where you have to have a group of people together, I'm sure this must be a bit of a difficult time for you guys. How is Sum 41 dealing with this situation?
This is because it's so new, like we haven't really spoken about anything other than just canceled tours. We message each other about, how you do, like checking up on each other and stuff like that. Tom is probably having the worst time because he lives in New York City, and his wife's a doctor, so she's basically a frontline person. So she's still going into work every day in a hospital, and Tom lives right down in New York City, and so I feel really bad for him. But as for us, I think we're just kind of just taking it as it goes. We don't really know what's going to happen. We're just trying to reschedule stuff for the fall, without losing too many shows, because we want to do them all. We haven't been to Mexico for a long time. We haven't been to Australia for a really long time. So we want to be able to do all these shows and make them up somehow. So, there's not a lot of talk between our band and management right now other than just trying to reschedule stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm just thinking, as you mentioned, Tom living in New York, at the time of this recording right now, the U.S.-Canada border is pretty much closed except for essential travel. So would that mean that even if, like, let's say Tom wants to meet up with you guys, he can't? He's stuck in the States for the time being?
Well, I mean, three of our guys are in the States. Derek lives in L.A., Frank lives in L.A., and Tom's in New York, and Dave and I are up here. So, it seems also that the U.S. is having a much rougher time, especially New York City, than Canada right now. So I don't even know what that would look like if Canada somehow gets to a place where everyone can start living normal lives and doing stuff again, but the States are still has a lot of problems. I don't know if they'll be able to leave and come back, that kind of thing. So, because we're in two different countries, and sure. I'm not sure that I'd be able to even go to the States to do anything right now, or even if Canada gets better and the States is still bad, I probably couldn't go down there. And so I don't know what it's all going to look like. We'll have to see.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, I have a lot of friends in New York State and New Jersey, and I've been in touch with them and kind of saying, like, are you guys doing all right? So it's a very odd situation going on right now. All of us are hoping that this thing will get resolved as soon as possible, but, God forbid, if this goes on for like several more months or even up to a year or so, that's going to change all of our lives. Have you as a band had any conversation about what you would do if this goes on for that long? Like, do you have any idea?
No. I try not to think about that stuff right now. I think our focus is just trying to stay at home and stay safe and make the right choices for touring. Even if we're allowed to tour or not in the coming months, if the next tour we have booked is mid-June, we're supposed to go to Europe. So that's kind of the next. As of now, nothing's canceled, but as this thing kind of progresses, we'll just have to see. No one knows. So we definitely have not talked about long-term effects of the band, but if this goes on for 6 months, 8 months, there's going to be some serious shit that happens to not just us, but like, a lot of people. So we'll have to have that conversation as it comes, I guess.
Yeah. Now, I read an interesting stat earlier today. I'm just going to pull it up for a second. So in mid-March, between March 13th to the 19th, global Spotify streams for the top 200 actually dropped by 11%, which I was very surprised to hear that, because I would have thought that everyone's inside, everyone's going to be listening to more music, right?
Yeah, you think.
Yeah, YouTube went up, but Spotify went down. even I think last week, The Weeknd released his big album everyone's been like waiting for, and Spotify was still only up by like 3%. So bottom line, people are inside and they're still not listening to as much music. Like, are you surprised to hear that? Like, I was very surprised to hear that.
Yeah, I'm actually pretty shocked. But I think for a lot of people, they're at home, but a lot of them are just working from home. I think people are still trying to make money somehow, and still trying to do their job, and and also I have 2 kids. Literally during the day, I can't do anything because I'm just watching 2 young kids who are just ravaging my house because they can't get outside, they can't go to parks, they can't go to school. We're not allowed in parks. We're not, we can't take them to the grocery stores or anything like that. So, I am surprised, but I'm not, because I don't listen to a ton of music in the day either. Because I'm just doing stuff with the kids and, trying to have a little bit of order in their lives. So, I listen to music at night during dinner and like cooking dinner and stuff like that. But it is a little surprising because even people that work from home, you'd think they'd have like, some kind of stereo on. People that work from home that don't have kids probably think this is great. They're like, I get to have my own hours. I get to work in my pajamas. I can do whatever the fuck I want, whenever I want. And so, yeah, I'm definitely surprised that there's not more streams going on, but yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. From what I remember, Max is about 3. Is that correct?
Max is 5 now.
Oh, 5 now. Jeez, it's been a while.
Yeah.
So both your kids are in elementary school, I take it, right?
Yeah, Max is in senior kindergarten, and our little girl, Isla's 1.5.
Oh, God bless him. Is that your kid on the side?
Yeah. Oh, hey. Where's your shirt?
Is that Max?
Yeah. And you say hi. Say hi to Daniel.
What's up, Max?
He's got a cut on his hand he wants to show me.
And look.
You got 2 cuts on your hand.
Got 2 cuts.
Yeah. How you doing?
Good.
Yeah? Okay.
Max, you're on break?
Okay.
Okay, you gonna say hi?
Hi.
Hi, Max. How's it going? You don't have homework?
No.
Where's your shirt? Where's your shirt?
I took it off inside.
All right. I'll be up in a sec.
Bigger day. This one's getting bigger.
Well, okay. Yeah, we'll clean it after. Sorry.
No worries, man. How are you guys as parents handling it, like this situation? Is it difficult for you guys?
It's hard because you're trying to just entertain them all day. Like we get to we take them to like an empty field, or try and find an empty field, or take them for a walk where there's not a lot of people, stuff like that. Try and stay away from as many people as possible. Take them bike riding. But yeah, you start to run out of things to keep their attention, and they're kids, so they have short attention spans in general. So yeah, I think a couple more weeks of this, and I might have to up my alcohol intake.
Yeah. So I guess on that note, for you, I mean, like you're a musician in one of the biggest bands out there. You guys are always working. Like having to be stuck at home, how is that for you personally? Is it difficult for you to deal with?
Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather be. Obviously I love being home with the kids. It's cool to be able to actually hang out with my kids because we've been gone for so long. But the feeling of not having anything coming up, like I just looked at my calendar yesterday, and like April is just clear and May is clear. That never happens to us. Like I see nothing on it, nothing, no shows, no rehearsals, no interviews, no anything. And that's a weird feeling. Because normally when we're off for this long, we're doing pre-production or recording a new album or something like that. That's the only time we get like extended periods of time off, is for writing and recording. With not having anything going on, it's definitely a strange feeling. I get to, from about 8 p.m. till I go to bed, I'm working on music constantly still, writing with other people right now, and stuff like that. So, I still get some music time. It's just not the same. It's also having nothing to look forward to in the way of touring. It's just, and June, I'm hoping that June will happen, but I kind of have my doubts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the way things are going. Who knows, right? Now, one of the, I guess, on a lighthearted note, I've noticed that online there's a lot of like parody songs about the virus people are making, and they're going viral. Would you ever actually write a song about the situation? Do you think that might happen?
I'm sure a lot of people will. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think a lot of people will probably write stuff about isolation and this dark time and stuff like that. But I don't know. Maybe I will. Yeah, I don't know. But I feel like with this time off for all these bands, most bands should be coming out with their best record after this because they have nothing but downtime. Like, bands should be just like hunkering down in their home and writing music and using this time to like write great songs. And hopefully, in the fall or the winter, we're going to see some bands with some amazing albums coming out because they've had so much time just to sit around and write.
I was just for fun, I was writing like a little skit, like if I were a musician, what I'd be doing right now. And I wrote something as a joke, but then I realized it might be true. If you guys were to try a band practice over Skype, would that be possible or would that be difficult because you can't hear each other properly and that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's hard. I actually was I was talking about doing like a online thing with Todd from Offspring because him and I have that Operation MD band, and we haven't done it for a long time. But we were talking about like what if we did like a live little acoustic performance, and we were trying to do it, but there's a lot of latency in videos.
Yeah.
And so we were trying, and it was weird to hear each other even with headphones. So it is. There must be a way of doing it because a lot of bands are doing it, or you just kind of like pre-record something, or. But it's hard. I think it's the latency issue in the internet,
For sure. And I was just thinking, now that everyone is basically like separated, like if you're in a band, like, I mean, you're de facto, I guess, a solo artist temporarily, right? Do you think there'd be any people that might actually break off from being in their band now that they're actually isolated and they prefer being that way?
I don't know. Well, like I say, I think everyone's just going to be, who's a musician will just be like writing music right now. So there could be like an influx of solo albums coming out and stuff like that. You never know. Like, and the thing I've found is, which is amazing, is for a lot of years and stuff, I've been producing other bands and doing little co-writes with people here and there, and I've always like done it in person. And actually, I've been like writing with other people through FaceTime and Skype like that, and I actually love it because you can just kind of, when you have someone over to your studio, you're kind of like there for hours, and you run into a roadblock, and you're kind of like, how do I get this guy out of my house now? Whereas like on FaceTime and stuff, you're just like, all right, well, let's work on some stuff. I'll call you back in 2 hours or whatever. I'll call you back tomorrow. And I've actually really loved doing co-writing through through FaceTime and stuff like that. And so I've learned something. Don't do it in person as much.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think that once things get back to normal, like, do you think that this will actually have changed the business? Like, are things going to go back to exactly how they were, or will this have, changed?
Yeah, I just have a feeling that I think the touring world is going to be hurt by this the most, because I think, like we were talking about before, promoters are really going to suffer a lot, and I think maybe crew people might quit the business because they have to right now, and they might just like find something else to do. I mean, the problem is with something like this is everyone's now going to be scared about it happening again.
Yeah.
And so everyone's going to be possibly looking for that backup plan of like, what if this happens again? So this has happened now, but what if this happens again next year? I have to have a plan, and I think people would be smart to like have a little bit more of a plan. I mean, this is the biggest thing that's happened in our lifetime. I was talking about this with someone else. This hasn't happened in about 100 years where things are shut down. I think when like the Spanish flu happened in like 1918. So it's possible something like this will happen again. So I think this is a pretty good learning experience for people. But yeah, I do think the music industry is gonna have to claw its way back a little bit from this.
Yeah, for sure. I don't think that like online sales will get hurt, but I agree with you that the touring is. I think I'm very curious to see what my first concert experience is going to be like once this is over. You know what I mean? Like, do you think they might have like limits as to how many people could be in this area, or like, what do you think might happen?
That's the thing, is like they're going to have to slowly let this all happen again. And like, how can you just have a festival of 60,000 people just like, okay, we can do this again?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And trying to bet on the fact that no one in the crowd has it. It could be a year and a half, or whenever they're going to start doing vaccines and stuff like that, before they'll allow these massive festivals again, or even big arena shows or amphitheater shows or anything like that.
Even for sports, I'm thinking, like, what's going to happen with them,
Sports, yeah, this whole thing. But rock concerts are unique in the way that everyone just kind of is, like, up on each other, and, yeah, like, there's the pits and, like, the crowd surfing and sweat and all this stuff. So those are pretty unique experiences. And, yeah, it's going to be, I don't know what it's going to be like.
Yeah, I mean, God forbid, but if, like, let's say the touring world is permanently changed from this, and Sum 41 has to become more of a non-touring band, would that have an impact on you guys creatively or, like, in terms of your longevity? It's a hypothetical question, but I'm just curious if you've maybe thought about that.
Yeah, no, I haven't really thought about that, but yeah, obviously you'd still make music and put it out, and I don't think we would necessarily change much in the way of our sound or anything like that, but that would suck.
That right there is the quote of the year.
Yeah.
This whole thing sucks. If you guys are starting out as a new band now, this virus situation, how, dark things seem to be, would that have had an impact on your songwriting?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible because our whole career, we've, basically just done stuff for that moment in our life. The first record, All Killer, we were fresh out of high school, so all we could talk about was high school and what we knew from high school years, high school relationships, high school parties. As soon as we had toured the world, we did Does It Look Infected, and now we were talking about more world issues and stuff like that. So we've always done songs from our experience and what we've gone through. So yeah, I think if we were starting now, it's possible we would just, well, it depends what age we were and what we were interested in. But yeah, there's a lot of political shit going on right now, and then now this disease and virus and stuff like that. So yeah, it's possible we'd be talking about different things right now, right out of the gate. Obviously it is a scary time, and it's, people are bored and everyone's bored and wants to get back to their regular life, but this is a serious issue, and that can't be taken lightly, because if it's taken lightly, it's just going to last a lot longer and more people are going to die. So yeah, I kind of just concern myself with, trying to keep my family safe right now and just do the right thing, make the right choices, and try and keep everyone from getting sick around me.
Is there a message you have for people in general?
Well, I think if you, to me, like, I just think about how I feel about it. And to me, I feel like I want to definitely, like, I can't wait to get back to just regular life and do the things you want to do, and, go out, see shows, walk down the street and not have to worry about it. And the only way we're going to get to that point is to just, follow these guidelines of social distancing, physical distancing, washing your hands a lot. And just, if you can just, if we can all just do that, it's going to end eventually. It has to end. And, but if you don't seem to care about that and, and don't believe in it, then this is just going to keep going on. It's just going to cycle around. People are going to get sick and die. And this, we'll just have to be inside. Stores will be shut down. Restaurants will be shut down for many more months. But if we can just all get on board, then this will end quickly. And we all, I personally, I can't wait to get back to just doing normal stuff again. So it sucks to sit inside all day, especially the weather's starting to get better, but it's just something we have to do right now.
Cone, as always, it's great talking to you, man. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, for sure. Talk to you soon.